Hello everybody, and welcome to another video presentation from Greco Technology. My name is Chris Greco. I'll be your narrator. What we're going to go over today is how to use Developer to do certain things that would be interactive in nature. Developer is a situation within Excel 2016 and been existing for a very long time, where you can put it on your toolbar, and I'm showing you right here how to do that. Basically, you would right click on the toolbar, customize the toolbar, and then add the developer, and that'll help you to add that developer. You can slow down this video as time goes on and go for it. In the meantime, what you're going to do is you're going to add a specific command. In this case, you're going to add what looks like a slider. You're going to stretch that out, and now you have the slider on your worksheet. Remember, it's going to be the scroll bar. That's the name of it, the scroll bar. I put some contrived data here, type and amount. Let's say it's a budget area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this scroll bar change the travel amount. And as I change the travel amount, it'll affect the total amount. So you go down here to Format Control, and when you take a look at Format Control, you have what they call a control area. And you can make this do what you want it to do considering one cell. In this case, I'm going to change the cell. I'm going to change it to meals instead of travel because I like to eat, and so does everyone else. So we're going to see what happens when we change that meal area and how it affects the total. I'm going to change the current value to 3,000, so it starts at 3,000, and then the minimum value is going to be 0, and the maximum value is going to be 5,000. That's as far as I'm going to go. And the increment I'm going to make about 100. And then I wanted to show you some other tabs here. One is the properties, and you can see that it's going to move, but doesn't slide with the cells. It's protected. There's all the individual areas that you need to take a look at. But this one here is alternate text, and this is important if you have individuals with disabilities that are there at your presentation, and basically, or can see this presentation later. And the alternate text basically is a description so that individuals that are using like JAWS or other accessibility type hardware can tab to that, and they can actually get a description as to what this is. Now you can make this as specific or general as you like. You can even put down here step by step how to do it in the alternate text. And that will help individuals with disabilities, especially blind individuals, that they'll be able to take a look at that. So now that that's all finished, what you can do is you can take a look and change that to meals in E3. And now what you do is, as you change that, you see how the slider moves? When it moves, you'll change the actual meal amount along with the total. It changes the total along. Now you can have 4, 5, 6 sliders on that. The neat thing about this is it also shows up with a graph. So what I do is I selected the type and amount, and I'll select it again, type and amount, and what I'm going to do is hit the F11 key. When I hit the F11 key, it will automatically make a separate chart in that same workbook. And what I want to do is I can change the chart type. What I want to do though is I want to change this and put this back onto the worksheet. So I'm just going to change where it's located back into the object in the original worksheet. So you can see the numbers change as it goes along. So now I have that, and watch what happens when I change this slider. It changes. See how it changes the middle column? It change the column, makes it totally interactive. Very easy to do. As you can see, it takes about 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes to make this thing happen. So you can change the amount back and forth. Now what you can also do is you can change this chart type and change it to a line, let's say. So you want to change the chart type to a line. And what will happen is, again, as you change that chart type, I'm going to change this from, notice I right-clicked on the chart, went down the chart type, and I can change it to a line. When I change it to a line chart really isn't appropriate for this, but I wanted to show you what happens. You see how it changes the line itself as you change? Yeah, it does have that interactive capability. So I'm going to change this back now to a column chart. It's a little bit, it actually is more appropriate to the data that you have because you have different categories. And that pretty much does it from the standpoint of developer. You get developer on the toolbar, and then once you do that, then you can go ahead and you can use those different areas within the developer, macros and whatever else. It makes it much easier from the standpoint of being able to visualize what's going on. You can even do this with project costs. You can do this with different areas. And so now what happens is, let's say you want to move it to the point where you see certain colors. So you change you do conditional formatting, and this is also an area of conditional formatting. And what I want to do is I want to change this formatting so that as I move this, it's going to change the color of the total to, let's say, yellow or red. And as you can see, you know, what I did here was I said, well, I want to do 3 types. And you can change this from lowest value. You can actually change the lowest value to number and then put in whatever number you want. In this case, I'll put in, let's say, 14. Well, let's see, change a value to the minimum number. Now, understand that this is normally set up as minimum number. And what happens is that this is relatively confusing, because if I put a maximum number here at 17,000, and then I try to do what needs to be done with the middle number and with the other number, it's going to come up as an error, because it's suddenly going to say, wait a minute, what's going on with the situation? So as you can see, watch what happens when I try to do this, and I say okay. It's going to come up with an error. It's going to say, wait a minute, you're putting my minimum and then you're putting the maximum below the minimum. So it really doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is try to change it again. It doesn't work. And I say, okay, well, fine. I'll change the green to green, the red to red, and I'll make it 2 sides, 2 values, but I'll make it gradient. So it slowly changes from green to red, and I'll put in my minimum and my maximum in there. Now when I do that, and even if I did it with a yellow, again, it's going to be gradient, but I'm going to put a middle value in here, and that middle value is going to be about 15,000 and 17,000. You can see right now it's right between green and yellow, and as I move this left, it turns more green. As I move it to the right, it turns it more yellow, and then to red. So you can see that then it turns into a deep red. So you can do a lot of things with conditional formatting. It's really a lot of fun to mess with, especially when you come with scroll bars like this one. You can go back and forth and see what type of colors you have. Now, remember that you can also change whatever you want from the standpoint of minimum or maximum from the standpoint of the scroll bar. And also remember that you may have colorblind individuals in your audience, so be careful when you use colors, because that may not mean anything to them from the standpoint of red, yellow, or green. So that's very important. So what we did today was we covered the developer area. We showed how that developer area, you can get a scroll bar and you can make this interactive, and then showed how it works with the actual chart, with a column chart. I showed you how to use the conditional formatting. And you can play with this as much as you want from the standpoint of developer. It comes with Excel. If you have 2013, it comes with that one. If you have 2016, it comes with that one. So hopefully you learned a lot, and it was very nice having you with me for this brief 10-minute video. Enjoy and impress your boss with the ability to be able to do those things very visually. Take care. Learn, offer, value, and educate.